Hi, my name is Simanta Viswas, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to speak on this issue of Israel-Palestine conflict. So, the Israel-Palestine conflict is a conflict between two nations not nations, is a conflict between two identities, you can say, that dates back to at least the end of the 19th century and to the beginning of the 20th century. It's inception. It is one of the most intractable problems in the world because this is, there is a great deal of anti-Semitism worldwide, and so since the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, Israel has had this conflict with Palestine and other nations because Israel is a state that is surrounded by Muslim nations from all sides. And so the problem today is that there is a great deal of skepticism between both the sides, a mutual distrust that exists between both the sides of this issue. And also that there is a great deal of nationalism, among the Palestinian people, and also there are security concerns for the state of Israel. So that is basically what this thing is about.
So the basic history is that there was a state existed called Palestine, which was ruled by British, which was in the British rule during the early 20th century, and there was World War situation in the Europe where Jews were living. So the Jews felt like unprotected in the Europe, and they fled from under the guidance of some Herz journalists, some Jew journalists. They fled from Europe to Palestine, which they believe that is their homeland from 950 BC something. So they believe that we are not protected in Europe, we are protected in our homeland, जिसमें हमारा 950 BC के आसपास हमारे लोग रूल करते थे. हमारे वहाँ पे कुछ टेम्पल्स भी हैं, हमारे वहाँ पर होली प्लेसेस भी हैं, तो हमारा जो मेन होमलैंड है वो है. तो अराउंड 6,50,000 ज्यूज यूरोप से पैलेस्टीन की तरफ, जो कि ब्रिटिश रूल के अंडर काम कर रहा था, वहाँ पर शिफ्ट हो गए. पैलेस्टीन्स ने उन्हें एज ए रेफ्यूजी इंक्लूड भी कर लिया था, पर 1947 के अराउंड आकर वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा लड़ाई हो गई इन दो ग्रुप के बीच में, क्योंकि जो पैलेस्टीन्स थे वो अरब्स थे, मुस्लिम्स थे, वो पूरा एरिया ही मुस्लिम्स डोमिनेटेड है. So when the Jews shifted there in 1947, a war broke between the two groups, and the British could not control the war. Okay, so they the Jews fought the war with the Palestinians as well as the surrounding countries, that is Egypt here, Jordan here, and Syria here. While the Syria, Jordan, and Egypt were not supporting the Palestinians, but they were involved in the war with the Jews that were living there. So what happened is the Palestinians, 7 lakh Palestinians moved in some small portion in that whole land, say namely the Gaza Belt, the West Bank. Yeah, so these are majorly the areas which are concentrated by the Palestinian population, while the whole other part was belonged to the Jews. So then when the British could not control the war, the UN entered, the US, which consists of Russia, US, United Nations and stuff. So they decided that this whole land where the Jews are living currently should be declared as Israel. So it was divided. The Israel come into play when US divided the place into Israel, and the other area was not declared as a Palestine nation, but it was the whole of Israel, where here is the Palestinian, some specific areas the Palestinian population was living in, the other areas the Jews were living. So the conflict is between the two nations, that the Palestine says that the Jews came later and have done injustice to us, while the Jews say that it is our homeland, it is our place. Why are Palestinians objecting, or why? Since then the Palestinians and the Jews are fighting wars, namely in 47, 67 I guess, and in 2001.
So I think what is important for us to get clear is that Jewish settlements and both Palestinian settlements and Muslim settlements, they have been living in this place since ancient times. From the right to the Egyptian civilization and all that stuff. So as I was saying a little earlier to some of my friends here, that there was conflict even then. There was conflict brewing between these two sides even then, regarding between the Egyptian, because at that time in the ancient period, he said 1950 and BC around. In that time, there was a hegemony of the Egyptian civilization in that entire region, and so the Egyptian rulers could not tolerate any kind of challenge to their hegemony. And that's why there was conflict, but largely it was peaceful, not to the scale that we are witnessing today. Okay? So, but that due to these conflicts, various the Jewish people, they started to migrate to other regions of the world and they spread around the world, especially Europe. But after, as you know, some of you might know that that region after after the collapse of the Egyptian civilization and all that region came under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish Ottoman Empire, right? From
the Ottoman Empire was quite peaceful, but the British rule could not handle this migration of Jews from Europe to Palestine.
That came later on. The Ottoman Empire, as I said, it was largely peaceful, so there wasn't any kind of exploitation or suppression of people.
While there was Jew migrants at that time also, it was not like the Jews migrated only in the British rule.
Exactly.
But at the Ottoman era, also the Jews and the Palestinians were existing. However, the Jews were in minority, in a very small minority, but they were living peacefully with the Arabs.
Exactly. So the point over here is how to resolve the issue.
No, but also we need to get to the more deeper problems and why it is like that today. After the end of the Ottoman rule here, they got defeated by the British. So there was a division. It was known as the Mandate Settlement between two countries, France and Britain. Almost the entire northern portion of Africa was taken over by France, and the rest, including Israel, Egypt, and all that, these places was taken over by the British. And so it was Britain called this entire territory as Mandatory Palestine. It was known as Mandatory Palestine. Mandatory Palestine. And so it was around the beginning of the 20th century when Britain took over this entire piece of land. But during the almost to the end of the Second World War, around 1940s, 1930s, 1940s, and 45 and 50, Britain, as you know, got involved in the Second World War, took huge losses financially, casualties, civilian casualties, and all that. And Britain and nationalism spread was growing all over the world. People were starting to demand their national identities, their separate nations from themselves. Palestinian identity was also started to take root in that place at that time. And so Britain was very eager to withdraw from that place as fast as possible. It wanted to get these sides to settle this issue among themselves, but it could not finally provide a final solution between these two sides. And so it withdrew, and the conflict still remains to this day. Israel was established in 1948, and from that period to the present day, Israel has progressed tremendously. Financially, economically, and also their military power has also increased. And so, also what was happening during that period was that through the Second World War, as you might know, anti-Semitism was taking place all over the world. Anti-Semitism means this ill feeling towards the Jewish population, because Jewish are a separate religion and all that. So people were starting to, and also Nazism, Hitler started to massacre so many Jewish citizens, Jewish people. And so a massive immigration, a massive influx of people started to take place in Israel from Europe. And the Arab population at that time in that place, they were suddenly, surprised.
Actually, it is not clear in the history whether what happened to the Arab. Both the parties have a different point of view. The Palestinians say that we were thrown away to these specific portions by the Jewish as they came into the play, while the Jewish say that the Arabs just fled or just vanished themselves. So it's not, it's quite, as you said, it's quite untraceable, or it's not documented well what happened at that time when the Jews shifted to the region. But the problem is right now that the peace, everybody wants peace because the lives are going on.
In fact, if you go by the surveys, the majority of the population in the Palestinian population as well as the Jewish population, they all want a final resolution to this issue, and they do prefer the two.
There are two issues: whether to create the two states, different for Palestinians and different for Jews. While the second one says that both Israel should allow Palestinians to and include the whole state. But the Israel does not want the second policy because the number of Jews people in that area right now is around 6 point something million, while if you include all the Arabs and the Palestinians, it will go up to 8 point something. So the Jews will become a minority, and Israel does not want that. So the major peace solution is a two-state creation, where comes into play the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, yeah, that is a holy city where both have their holy places, and they don't want a specific region.
If you look
All
at
the problem began with the British colony that followed the divide and rule policies with what they followed with India. They divided the Jews, Christian and Muslim into three separate there when they were the leaders there, and they made the different rules for different ones. So that created problem. Then they flew away. Then when they couldn't control the situation. Then now that Israel, which does not have the recognition of a state, the Arab state, the Egypt, which didn't give him the recognition. In the Oslo Accord, he gave the recognition to the Israel that it is a separate nation, and I am with him that it is a separate nation and with his boundaries. But the several Lebanon and other countries were not with the favor that it is a separate state. And after the Oslo Accord and when the British flew away, they all attacked the Israel. But the Israel kept his control.
Right now, Israel is a complete nation according to the United Nations.
I would like to question you on the
It is
fact that you said Great Britain was the main root of the cause. It started this entire conflict. But actually, what happened was that there was a demand for separate identities, separate territories, pre-existing the British withdrawal from that place. It was unlike the situation that was in India. They drew a line, we didn't want to separate, and subsequent things happened, and all that. But if you look into the Israel and Palestinian conflict, Palestinian nationality was brewing even before this. And Britain had no option. It wanted to withdraw from this place. There are not a lot of resources. It is the Middle East, it's desert.
And of course, Britain at that time was automatically withdrawing from its colonies at that time. So it wasn't like the groups.
Exactly. It was not the identical divide and rule situation that was present in India. Because divide and rule is, if you go into that story, because it's a different story.
But if you see today the Israel, which is a 70% Jews population majority, and Palestinian, which is a Sunni Muslim population majority. We can follow the UN methods here. When the UN came into the power, he said that he will divide Israel and Palestine into two nations, and Jerusalem will be controlled by a centrally international government. So I think that is the solution, that these two is
But
the
both the
different
groups do
states.
not agree to the control of Jerusalem.
I do support on the two-state solution, because that is totally clear here.
Of course, the solution and the peace comes with the two-state solution and the control of Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is a controversial place, because both the groups have their religious temples or holy places in the same city. It is a very old city, so if it is controlled by one group, they'll automatically suppress the other group to not enter the place.
Some of you might know that the three religions that are involved in this conflict, in this issue, are Judaism, Christianity and Islam. Okay? And so these three Abrahamic religions, they both have one of their holiest sites, and Jewish have the holiest site in present in where? Jerusalem, in the city of Jerusalem. And so the question is with regards to how to divide this city. The question is also with regards to how to calm Israel's security concerns. Israel has grave security concerns, even with the two-state solution. Israel is also opposing the two-state solution. Because Israel has said, because statements and wars have taken place over the past century, and many rulers have openly declared that they want Israel wiped off the map. They don't want any Jewish population in this place, because this is a Muslim area. They want that to remain established. So Israel does not want that, and so just recently you might have heard that Israel has started to establish settlements in the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank. Right?
Israel was majorly after the 1967 war, they controlled various places where the Palestinian population was in majority. But if you consider the surveys that were conducted where people were voting for what they want as a peace settlement, then the two-state policy was the most favored policy for the peace settlement. But if right now we are arguing about who's right and who's wrong, then we can't, at least I can't take a side of one group who's right and who's wrong.
So it is better to forget the past and to think of the future.
Exactly.
Exactly. To take a neutral
And to
stand.
take the accountability of what the wrongs has been done by both the
As
groups.
the people have voted that.
I think they cannot decide who will take the charge of the Jerusalem. That then the UN policy of the international government that is the best to control the Jerusalem. And it
But the
should be-
problem with the UN policy is that the Israel is in conflict with almost everything, saying it always quotes that we are declared as a nation by the UN. They were declared as a nation by the UN, a separate nation by the US and the UN.
They are a member of the United Nations.
Yeah, they are a member of the United Nations. But if we go by the history, then they have 42. I don't have the exact term of. Means they have 42 rulings against them by the UN for not following the rules and regulations of UN.
What
Means
is
42 times they have been warned or they have been allegated by the UN.
In history, they slaughtered by the Nazisms as well.
Yes.
Yes. It made a great impact. Even they are losing their identities, and they really want a nation for themselves to make an existence in the world. Otherwise, who cares
Who
about
are you
it?
talking about? The Palestinians or the Jews? The Jews. Of course, everybody wants peace, and the United Nations is also saying that you can hold up a state on your own. But the problem is the division. Where do you want to draw the line?
The problem with the administration of the city of Jerusalem by the United Nations is that first, what will be the system there? I mean, how effective is the administration going to be? And also, we know how the United Nations is influenced by the Western powers. So, who's going to speak for the other side?
And the
Palestinian issue.
There is one.
Also, there is another problem regarding the administration of city of Jerusalem is that if we divide this place and the Muslim areas will go to the Muslim population that settles, it goes to the Palestinian and the Jewish settlements areas goes to the Israel country. The problem is that whenever the opposite side gets hold of any particular side that belongs to the other, holiest side, if the Muslims take over any side that is there is some
Jewish
holy side, so they destroy it.
They destroy it and does not allow the other person to enter or to praise. But the problem with Israel is currently right now, the major problem is that if we go by the history, then there exist two parties, mainly the Israel left and the Israel right. The Israel left believed in secular, democratic, and all the things that must be followed. But the current ruling that Israel is ruled by the Israel rights, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Israel rights. Yeah, and they are more of religious, dominant people who are not readily agreeing on any settlement, saying.
If you see Palestinian, they have two extremist groups, that is Hamas and PLO.
Yeah.
So they
Hamas and
PLO. Palestinian.
Majorly Fatah and Hamas.
Israel have problems with that, and they have danger with that. So if we see that the Jews were very suppressed by them, so I think that they should get the Israel as their own country. And
which they have.
But the question is, how much of Israel and how much of Palestine? Where to draw the line? Israel is already
Do you even want to do state solution? That's the question. Do you even want to do state solution? Because if you see the stand that the Israeli government has taken over the years is that they don't want it. That's why they are settling new settlements in Gaza as well as in West Bank. They are opposing, because the problem is that there is a deep amount of mutual distrust and skepticism between the two sides. None of them believes the other side to be, stay true to its promise and uphold its obligations if an eventual agreement is settled. They are all, saying, if I'm signing a deal with you, and the thing is that I'm still not believing that you will hold your end of the deal. So that's the problem.
the agreement was signed for the 5 years that they will not be in war, and then when the 5 year ended, they engaged in the war instantly.
So that's the way, the ceasefire agreements, they keep on getting violated.
Actually, the history is so big and so brutal that both have their issues, both the parties have issues with each other. But if we want to reach to a peace solution, if we want peace, if we want no more lives to be gone in such a war, then they have to forget the past and the history.
Yes, I also think if the main problem is Jerusalem, then they cannot be on war. They should be on the Cold War. They should talk about it, and the leaders should talk about it and find a solution.
Well, talks have been going on for at least since the 1993 Oslo Accord,
Nothing
and
is
then the
now
Camp David
done.
Summit, and then over the years, many summits took place.
there is one more aspect of this issue, if you would be
Yes, yes.
considering it, that if the two states are divided, whether in any manner, we may draw skeptical lines or whatever we may do, but still that Jerusalem part which will be controlled by international
SAVI
corporation,
Exactly.
so that would be converted into a battleground indirectly. If we do this separation, then that Jerusalem would be forcefully converted into a battleground.
Religious conflicts.
Yeah, religious conflicts will go.
Religious conflicts will prevail, but when the major issue in these states is that the population follows the leaders, I can say blindly. I mean, there are leaders, leaders, and the followers are following them blindly. Okay, so if the leaders agree on some policy and they do justice to all, then I guess that peace will prevail and peace can prevail.
It should be like that now, like you should know that the Punjab has a holy place in Pakistan, and they go to Pakistan by train, special train, Punjabis people, to visit their holy place. So I think there should be a solution like this, where Jerusalem is the capital of the Israel. So the Palestinian and
Pretty good example.
so it should be controlled. It should be controlled in Israel, but the other religion people should allow to go there and visit their holy place.